Go.
Check 1 2. How are you?
Yeah.
Enjoying the weather?
It's lovely, isn't it?
So last time we were talking about the dance music Earthquake, which came from your amazing video that you posted.
Tour manager thing.
Was effective?
Well, it needed to be said. Before I posted that thing on my social media, I contacted the tour manager group, which is called TNT Sofa Sessions, to get an understanding of how it worked so that I had my facts right before I posted anything.
Yeah, sure.
And I asked them a couple of questions, and one of the questions I asked them was, don't you think the DJs ought to be paying for their tour managers? And they replied back saying, well, you need to understand that a lot of these tour managers get paid on a show-by-show basis, and if there's no shows, there's no salary.
Yeah.
I can show that reply now on screen so you can see. So what I think happened was that there were some tour managers whose DJs were not paying them out of the group.
Yeah.
And then they roped everyone else in to try and make this big thing so that they could make some money, which they needed to do to pay their bills. And then other DJs and other tour managers who were, the DJ was paying their tour manager, they got sucked in because they were just saying yes to helping a mate out.
Yeah.
So were there some DJs in that group who were guilty of not paying their tour manager? 100%. Were there some that were already paying their tour manager and just got hooked in something that they didn't truly understand and their management should have filtered it a bit better? 100%. Carl Cox, for one, he definitely pays his tour manager. His tour manager Jump is his best mate.
Yeah.
They live together, for fuck's sake.
I think they maybe just sort of nodded their head to the idea and thought they were doing a good turn and it blew up.
I mean, put yourself in either the shoes of one of those DJs or one of those DJs' management. In any context, in any different way, that thing was presented to me, I'd be like,
yeah,
not sure about this.
For sure.
And if we are going to say yes to it, I need to see everything before it gets posted.
Yeah, the way it was sort of put together was like...
It was piss poor. It was poorly put together, appalling execution, and as a result, it caused a twat like me to do a massive post about it and slap it down, but quite rightly too. You don't come on as a millionaire and start using words like help, donate, support your staff. What? What are you talking about? You do that.
Yeah.
You support your staff. The problem is, the uber wealthy in this situation, in this situation and in other situations, you've got people like Steve Coogan, who plays Alan Partridge. He's now furloughing his staff, his gardener, his housemaid.
All of them?
Well, there's a few of them, yeah. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire. Why are you getting the taxpayer to pay for them?
Surely can the government not just look into things like this and stop that from happening?
Well, the press look into it. They can name and shame him as a complete bellend and then hopefully he U-turns, like Victoria Beckham did. But the problem is the wealthy confuse not earning
and not having money
with not having money, and the two are entirely different things. If you don't have a penny, then you can't pay bills.
Yeah, of course.
And there are definitely lots of musicians and up-and-coming artists out there who desperately need help.
100%.
But at the same time, there are fucking millionaires who are just exploiting it because they think, oh, I'm not earning money. Oh, how can I pay for stuff? You know how you've been touring and earning 200 grand a month for the last 20 years? Yeah. Use that money. That money you've accrued in the bank, yeah, just use some of that. How can I pay for my tour manager? What's it going to take to pay his wages for 6 months? The equivalent of half of one of your gig's fees?
Yeah, max.
Anyway, I don't want to sort of particularly go back over it, although I will say one of those DJs in question did a bloody live stream and tried to get people to donate. And it's super, super rich. And they're trying to get people to donate when they do a live stream. Now, if you're not at that level of income and you're getting people to donate for a live stream and you're on the breadline financially, then fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough if that's what you have to do to pay your bills. But these guys are millionaires.
It's a tricky one even at that, you know.
I just think it looks shit.
It's tricky.
And also, is it legal? Is it legal to get people to pay for you to stream? Because essentially, as far as I'm concerned, running a record label, that's you selling a compilation album.
Yeah, well, none of the records are getting royalties, or the producers are getting any royalties.
No.
Or...
To me, that's just another compilation. It's a streaming compilation.
I don't know, man. I think it's a tricky one. Like, it's not something I would do, but I think if you're in a position, it gives you a chance to maybe think of other avenues, other ideas, you know, other things which you can do. Which,
yeah, I mean, it's a challenge in this period for people to have to try and find a new way to make ends meet, to pay bills.
It's tough.
It is tough. But one thing that it's made me realise is the sheer cost of touring. I'd say the majority of the money you earn from touring is just to pay for you to tour.
It's expensive.
It's just crazy. I'm definitely going to change everything when I come back from this. When touring starts up again, I'm going to do a very limited number of gigs. Just the ones I want to do. A small number of them. 10 to 12 weekends of gigging a year. So if you do 12 weekends, that's 24 gigs.
Gives you more time to do all the things you want to do.
Yeah.
On the side. Or be interesting to see like how many gigs take off after this. You know?
And how they take off as well.
It could, who knows, it could just start to blow up. People, if things clear up, I'm being optimistic.
I mean, eventually it has to go back to how it was, but
it seems like it seems like the time frame of what people were thinking. Well, first you had the initial time frame that this was going to take a few months, then that wasn't happening. Then we thought it was going to take forever, and now it seems to be speeding up.
I think there's going to be a second wave, and it will hit in sort of autumn, just when people are starting to get the illnesses that they traditionally get as it transitions from summer into winter. Normal flu, all the other ailments they get. I think there will be a second wave and it will be fucking phenomenally big. Well, much bigger than this one anyway.
I hope not.
I think it will. I think it's sort of just an obvious way you'd expect something like that to run. But, you know, some venues opening up and saying, or suggesting that they're going to be opening at 30% capacity. I suppose some guys in LA run a club in LA. They said that there's a possibility that they would open at 30% capacity.
How's that going to work?
Well, how would it work? Unless you had everyone in squares on the dance floor, how would it work? Because otherwise, you've got 1,000 capacity dance floor, you put 300 people in there, they're all just going to go vroom to the front.
Yeah.
And then what's the difference?
Like in China, the clubs are open now. Like some clubs are packed. I mean, hopefully it can be contained, it dissolves itself and things get back to normal.
It's a controversial topic, but I have to say I'm sort of on the side of how the Swedish have handled it. And I know a lot of NHS and frontliners and people who know someone who's died and people who have lost loved ones, etc. will, you know, say, what the fuck, John?
Yeah.
To that. But having an economy completely fucked for 2 generations, which is what it's likely to be, at least, I mean, completely fucked. All this money that the government are paying out on furloughed wages and stuff, who do you think is going to pay for all of that? It's us and our children and their children.
Yeah, like apparently, like in America, there's millions are unemployed or whatever because of this. But they said that there could be 40% of that figure won't recover. You know, those jobs won't.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, they won't recover themselves.
And you wonder how many deaths the recession itself will cause. What are the ramifications of that? I just think the overwhelming majority of people who get ill from COVID-19 are people who already had underlying health problems,
Elderly.
people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well those two groups stay the fuck at home.
This is what I think.
Everyone else get back to work.
That's what I was just about to say. I think that the whole lockdown thing, I think America fucked it and here fucked it as well. Because if they had just focused in on those target groups, you didn't need the whole economy doesn't have to shut. Businesses are now going like down the toilet because of it.
Of course. What they said in Sweden was just use common sense. They worked on the basis that the general public have an element of common sense. You know, don't go out and start getting off with every person you meet. Keep it at a safe distance.
Yeah.
Restaurants, space the tables out more, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. It didn't need to go this far down the line.
No, but our statistics are so bad. The worst in Europe, aren't they, now?
Yeah, they are, but I mean, even like Ireland, Southern Ireland statistics are nowhere near as bad here, but it's the whole economy's locked there as well. It's the fear of it getting like this, you know? So it's the same similar thing, but obviously not as high figures in like cases and deaths.
Yeah.
So it's still the same problem, like everything's shut down, and a lot of people and businesses weren't. Maybe it was unnecessary in a way.
Well, it was a huge gamble, and if they hadn't locked down and gone ahead and, I don't know, 1 million people died, it would have been such a controversy that no government probably could have survived that.
But as you say, like, they're focusing in on the core, group, like the core, like the
most at risk.
Yeah, like really home in on that.
Yeah.
And then the rest is, be common sense and like careful.
Yeah.
And maybe half these businesses didn't have to close.
Yeah. What have you been working on?
What have I been working on? I've been in the studio finishing a remix for you actually.
Yeah.
Of your recalibrate on 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's turned out well. Just needs a good solid day or so on it. Should be finished. And finish off a new single for Skullduggery as well.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are kind of the final stages, which people have asked me, since you've been at home, have you finished loads of new tracks? And the answer is no. But I just find, I've got lots of different bits that I'm working on, but to finish things, that last 15%, 20% takes anything from an extra few days to an extra few weeks, sometimes a couple of months.
I had a really productive spurt in the first 2 months. And I've got about 12 tracks to, I'd say, 80%. But 2 of them now, I'd say, are pretty much finished.
Yeah.
They just need a good stem mix and master. But the last 3 weeks, first of all, I had a week where I was sidetracked because I had to move out of the 7 office. We lost the office.
Yeah.
So I had to move home. I had to get decks built, like a thing built to accommodate the merchandise, T-shirts and my decks and stuff. So that took out a week. And then ever since then, it's just been, the increased workload with 7 Radio now being weekly, doing live streams, and also working massively on Tranceportal as well, which is obviously a platform you and I are both involved in. No shit, this is the Tranceportal podcast, but I'm really working hard on that because I think that could be a massively integral part of the health, growth and evolution of the trance scene.
Yeah.
So now we have the Tranceportal podcast, we have the radio show now, which is up and running. We have a great, really cool interview series which is launched. There's a studio series coming, there's a fitness series coming, which is epic, really good. I have to show you that.
Yeah.
So that is sort of developing into this big trance hub of really high-end exclusive material. And it will be massive, I know it will.
Yeah, the interviews are really good.
Yeah, really cool.
Good questions.
So all of those things are taking up quite a lot of time.
I think you go through phases, like with production, you got ideas, and I find if I have, like, say, important gigs coming up, I can really home in on getting tracks finished more, or, there's more of a buzz to get it done.
Yeah, I just need everything that stresses me out to be out the way.
In what sense?
Well, like, if I go into the studio to make music and I have a list of other stuff that I should have had done or whatever,
you can't focus.
I can't focus. I need it all out the way.
The problem with that is, right, when we're so busy, sometimes everything isn't always out of the way.
No, well,
so
it's
much
impossible to be. Like right now, I'd say the majority of my time is taken up between Tranceportal and editing video content from Red Kite Barn, where Will and I went in January to work on his album.
Good videos, actually.
Man, there's so much shit to do. You got to think, if you've got cameras running for 6-7 hours in a day,
it's a lot of footage.
And now you come back 4 or 5 months later, you've got to sit down and you've got to watch it all to find the good bits.
It's worth it though.
It's good. I've got 2 more episodes to finish.
And is that it?
No, there's 5 episodes to do. 4 parts up to day 3 have been published now. Next Sunday will be day 4, and then on the Wednesday day 5, and then on the Sunday after that will be day 6, because on the Friday Will Atkinson releases a track called Beans. And basically when we were there, we inevitably in anything that you do where there's an adventure with mates or a holiday with mates, there's always one day where you perhaps don't particularly get on, or there's a bit of friction or something.
People are pissed off.
And I think to be fair, looking back and listening to all the footage, watching all the footage now and being reminded of the whole thing, and watching yourself on camera, I think I was probably pushing Will a bit too hard.
Right.
To deliver, to make the most out of this.
You're probably just trying to squeeze the time,
Yeah, no, I was.
Squeeze
And I think it just caused a little bit of friction between us. He was working in a room which had no windows, so even though we were in the beautiful mountains, he couldn't see it. He was just working. And then so on this episode that I'm working on at the moment, we get up in the morning and we've just got to go out and have a long walk, clear the heads, come back, sit down outside, have a coffee. It's beautiful sunny weather. In January, cold, but sunny.
Nice, yeah.
And talk about it and clear the air and then move on. And that's exactly what we did. It's a really, really great story. And I wish I could get more people to know about it, because so much effort and work is going into telling this story, so you just want as many people to know about it as possible. But it'll grow on YouTube, etc., where we're putting this predominantly. It will grow over time.
They're good videos.
Yeah, it's good. I just want to do more of that sort of stuff.
So I've done this thing with the bunker where I put out a video just inviting brand new producers on.
I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah, so it's a bit nervous about it because obviously I'm just putting it out there and see what comes in. So it's basically for unsigned, unheard of artists, and just to submit music to me, and I'm going to do I'm going to do a live bunker set with all brand new material from people you've never heard of.
Have you had a good response?
Yeah, actually. I was a bit like, because I don't know what's going to come in. I don't know, is it stuff I'm even going to play? But I've got a folder now today of about 10 to 12 playable tracks, which,
it's not bad.
Which isn't bad for a start.
Yeah.
So, any new producers, get your stuff to me.
Yeah.
And it's good because, sometimes, like, say, a new producer sends a track to a DJ, like it's hard to get tracks signed, and B, it's hard to get tracks played, or even sometimes listened to.
Yeah.
So the response has been good.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing. Everyone's at home making music, aren't they? And all producers have got loads of time. I mean, this remix competition we did for some person, I think we had about over 80 submissions. 80.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
There must be at least 10 of those are good.
I think Simon picked out a good 15 to 20.
That are all good?
Yeah, and by the time this comes out, their winner will already be announced. But he's announcing it basically tomorrow night.
Okay, brilliant.
On 7 Radio.
You going to do anything with the other mixes?
Well, I think, I'll talk to Simon about it, but I was thinking maybe we'd pull the best 5 together into an EP.
You have 5 max.
Yeah.
It'd be great to see or to hear more new producers coming through, who were, and had that chance or had that motivation to actually want to do this.
Yeah.
I think people need to see that they can get a bit of, a door opening or a bit of, I don't know, it's not support, but, a bit of
Well, now's the time to do it, if ever there was a time to do it, because all the DJs are at home in their studios and you've got their attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Like now, the last batch of promos that came through, I mean, I sent a load of them to you, but fuck man, it was like 1,100 tracks, and I reckon from that there were probably, I think I picked 90, but from that 90 I then went through that again and I probably picked 10.
It can be slightly soul destroying.
Yeah.
That's the way it used to be, but like all the time, like years ago. Like there was never, well, obviously you did get some shit tracks, but like before it went totally digital, like there was loads of cracking tracks, you know? That's because people were putting the time and effort in. You know, not this conveyor belt of quantity. You know, less quantity and just more quality music.
Yeah, fuck me, there are some
Too much
out there
stuff.
just releasing hundreds of tracks.
I don't see the value in that at all.
What does it mean?
There's no value in it.
Right.
Even if you had, say you had like, I don't know, 10 mega tracks which were fucking ginormous. If you put one out and don't give it its space, the next one you've just cancelled it. You've devalued it. It needs its own space and time.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's a good thing to just be banging out hundreds of tracks.
Right. As soon as you release a track, the one before is over.
That's what I'm saying.
And if you do that, you're not honouring the amount of time you put into that.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense to like put months into a record and then just blow it out of the water and then 4 weeks later. Know what I'm saying?
Ain't that the truth?